Hi, this is Audrey Auld here on Retrospectives with John Broughton on KC Radio 97.7 FM.
I've been through the wasteland, washed up on the shore, drowned in the bottom.
Fantastic. When you first walked into San Quentin for a songwriting workshop, was this your ultimate goal to come out eventually with a CD full of songs?
Oh gosh, no. It was just, like, oh, I could do that. That was 2007, and it was just one of those, we'll just, do that and see what happens. And it just sort of went on from there. And it really wasn't until I think we decided to leave Nashville in 2014 that I thought, I should record these songs. I had 5 songs that I'd, created with these inmates, and so it was only at the end that I kind of went, I should do a CD before I leave, Music City.
So was a specific reason to record them in Nashville that you felt they deserved the Nashville treatment?
Oh yeah, because there's a lot of relationships there, and I guess I felt that there's a lot of great professional musicians there and a lot of great studios, so that was easy.
Yeah. Did you have any idea what to expect when you first walked into San Quentin? Did you have any preconceived notions at all?
Yeah, I was afraid, and I was pretty nervous, but really that dispelled pretty quickly. Once I was inside, there's a lot of process that you go through to kind of get into the actual room where you're going to do the work, and there were no sort of guards in there, and it actually became quite relaxed. The first song that we
No, go ahead. You're right.
The first song that we did together was Hey Warden. So I just went in with the first line of a verse and had them respond to, hey Warden, can I borrow your pen? Can I borrow your phone? Can I borrow your keys? And so on. And then they wrote the rest.
Mm. Had you had workshop experience yourself before going in there?
No, here and there at a music festival, but not with inmates, not with people who were ranged from not having any experience at writing to being experienced musicians. So with sort of 2 to 3 hours to work with 10 to 15 people, I had to come up with an idea that everybody could focus on, and then I would take that home and wrangle that into a song, just bring an arrangement and a melody, and stay very true to their words and their feelings and their stories.
Yeah. So the process you went through in writing Hey Warden with them, was that pretty much how it was for the other songs that followed, or was it a different process for each song?
I think it was different. It would depend. Some subjects didn't really work, and it's not like every song, everything that we worked on became a song. Sometimes it was just a writing experience, and they're all very different, and then others just sort of came together. And so the last one that we wrote together was I'm Not What I Have Done,
mm-hmm.
and that came from a line that one of the inmates had written to a letter to a lady at the Bread and Roses Presents, who is the non-profit that brings me into the prison, and that line really stuck with me. I'm not what I've done, and I thought, God, we can all chew on that one for a while, So we ended up writing that song, and then the day that I left Nashville, I actually made a video. The very day that we left Nashville, I had a couple of hours with a friend who's a video player, and so we made a video of that song, and it's very powerful. When we showed it to the inmates in the prison just this year, they all just stood up and cheered afterwards. They were like, wow, this really captured what it is like to be an inmate, just to be walking in this circle around and around and around, and they dug it.
Yeah, it had quite an effect on them, I believe.
Yes, very much, very much.
That is my favourite song on the CD. It is so powerful, and it works so well because of there's very much the stripped down arrangement you've got of it. Just a simple acoustic backing.
Yeah, just me and guitar. I think the words, that's all it needs, is this really powerful story. Yeah.
Exactly. So that's how you envisioned it right from the beginning.
Yeah, I didn't think it needed anything else. Yeah.
Were the inmates quick to open up and share their feelings with you, or did it take a bit of time to break the ice with them?
Well, gosh, looking back, I mean, I guess it's been many years. It's funny because there's no sort of rhyme or routine about when I get in, and you can turn up and they're like, oh, there's this swine flu and you can't get in, or you can go in and it's like, oh, you've got to go now because there's a lockdown, or and then other times, we really connect. So it's what became clear to me is that over time, time takes on a different. It's not about, oh, I'm going to see them every month or every so many months. It's really about when I come in and then we connect, and I'm dealing with people who want to improve and want to find out who they are. And I mean, I find out more recently that some of these guys have never been asked questions about themselves and how they feel and what their stories are, and they put a lot on me as far as giving them an opportunity to express themselves, which I didn't know that at the time. I just go in, I figure, let's just be honest, and at some point, I lived in California for 3 years and then we moved to Nashville, but I kept going to San Quentin. Whenever I went touring, I'd always go back to San Quentin, and it was obvious to me that it was in San Quentin where the truth lies. It's, there's a gazillion songwriters in Nashville, who want to be rich and famous, but there's not a whole lot of people there who are really seeking the truth. And then to go to San Quentin where you're dealing with people who are like, what have we got to lose but to find the truth, you know what I mean?
Yeah.
And then, more recently I was diagnosed with cancer in February 2014, right when I got back from Australia. That creates another type of connection, because when you're an inmate or if you've got prison, there's just a whole lot of, choices and freedom that is taken away from you, So it's interesting to share that connection in another level as well.
So how did you go about the process of moulding their words into a workable melody without, I guess, tampering too much with their original thoughts that they'd put down?
It presented itself, really. It wasn't like, oh, I'm going to do this or that. And it just depended on the song, really. And, like Walls, that was the second one that we did together. And that was obviously sort of more of a rock song. And the Oh Love, that was clear that there's more than one voice going on there. So I kind of like the idea of having this sweet sung part and then a really much more better rapped part. And, I would have loved to have got, a guy to rap that part. But, I mean, I just didn't. I was short on time and I didn't know anybody in Nashville. I'm sure they're there, but I didn't find them. So I was like, okay, I'll just do this. And, it worked all right.
It sure did. You mentioned Hey Warden was the first song to emerge from the workshops, and like you did with Bound for Glory from the Tonk album, it sounds like something that could have been written years ago. It sounds like something Johnny Cash could have written. You must be really proud of that song.
Oh, totally. Yeah, absolutely. And it's a song that just really, really connects with people. Even, recently I went and played in a children's prison. I mean, you think it's like San Quentin's a holiday camp after going to this children's, what do they call it, a juvenile detention centre. Yeah, and it's like, oh my God, there's 60-odd kids. There's boys and girls, and they're aged from 0 to 18, and it's a very different situation, very controlled. They bring them in groups, and very, very suppressed. Yeah, that was tough. But they loved Hey Warden. Like, you could tell that they dug it, and the staff dug it, and it's like, okay, well, at some point I realised that, you put all the uniforms and the roles aside, and they're just human beings, and these are young people, these are children, Yeah. But it was good to kind of just get through to half of them even,
Well, to get through to just getting through to one is something.
Totally, that's right. I mean, just getting through to one was like, oh my God. So there's a few that smiled and connected with me, and there's others who just were yawning, or they're looking down, or they're depressed, and there's so many different emotions going on, and I was like, well, all I can do is acknowledge each of them as they enter and as they leave, and that's all I can do.
Yeah. The song Poor Joe is inspired by a letter you received from an inmate by the name of Joe Askey. Can you tell us about Joe and the effect that his letter had on you?
Yeah, that was so he was early on in San Quentin, and a great songwriter, and obviously very, very well respected by the other inmates in that class, and his mother had lived in Nashville, and you could tell that he had a lot to offer, but he was very truthful. He had a great understanding of traditional country, and with truthful stories. And but he was, troubled, by obviously what the words in the song, and he ended up moving to another prison in hopes of being nearer to his family, but which didn't actually happen. But he sent me this 4-page letter, and you're not supposed to write letters. I'm not allowed to write to inmates, and they're not allowed to write to me. But he sent me this one letter, and it really gave me a lot to think about. And so I like to give him a co-write for this song, because it's very much inspired by his stories and his feelings, and it's a very powerful song. Wow,
it is, yeah. Since running the workshops, have you noticed a change in the way you approach your own individual songwriting now?
Oh, no. I mean, I think as I just get older, I write less. Not that I've got less to say, but I'm just much more selective about what I do write. And, so it's not that I'm it's not that I'm doing less. That's it. I think I'm just being more selective.
Yeah.
Yeah, and I don't know that I've been writing all of my life, so I don't know whether that's influenced me that much as far as my own songs go.
When putting together a collection of records, of songs for this record from men who, let's face it, aren't in a happy situation, were you mindful of not having too dark a mood on the record?
Oh no, I wasn't. I mean, I think these are heavy feelings, and I mean, like Naked and Nameless is a song I wanted to include that one because we often would do a pass the guitar when we started the session or at the end of it, and I'd originally done this song as a 3/4, like a waltz, and it was slower and sadder, I guess. But when I went into the studio, I was like, I think we should turn this into like a reggae and just lift it up. And but the beautiful thing about this song is, I mean, I've sung this in different situations at shows, and it's fine. But playing it in the prison, after the first go around with the chorus, there's a whole bunch of guys just jumped in and sang on the chorus, like they totally got it, like Naked and Nameless. And it was like, oh, my God, it was really moving. I didn't expect them to sing along, and it was like, oh, boy, that was great. That was very powerful.
That must be a magic moment for a songwriter to have an immediate reaction like that to a song.
It really was, John. I was really blown out. Yeah.
Bread and Roses makes another appearance on this record. It's a song which I guess began the whole connection between you and San Quentin.
Yeah, and it's still a powerful song, and you know, people love that song, and I don't mind including it because Bread and Roses is very much part of what started this whole situation, and I'm always happy to share that song.
For sure.
Mm.
Now, I guess for you, the most personal song on the record is Sunshine, dealing with your medical diagnosis. I imagine a song like that could either be extremely difficult to write or incredibly easy to write. Which was it for you?
Oh, it wasn't either. It wasn't like, oh, this or that. It was like, this has to be written because, you know, I guess it's my response to other people's response to my diagnosis. And you know, it's not, some people tend to sort of, once they know that you've got cancer, they sort of put you over there and, you know, sort of like you're a sub-person or like you're a patient or, you know, they sort of just sort of put you over there. And I think it's hard for some people to deal with the fact of mortality, that we're all going to die. And if it's not that, it's going to be something else. And so I just felt like this needs to be written, and now I've got a great new one. It's called Drugs and Love. It's like, you know, there's nothing can save us but drugs and love.
I like that. I like that a lot.
Yeah, I'm keen to record that one, John.
Was it a therapeutic experience writing that song?
Oh, for sure, absolutely. Yeah. I mean, I guess the best writing is, you know, and. I had to delve into it, and I don't sing it so much now. I guess I'm more into the drugs and love one these days. It's a little angrier.
I saw you played the Cape Wolf Festival recently alongside some legendary names. That must have been great fun.
Oh, my God. You know, I mean, to see Smokey Robinson, you know, he's, 70, 75. That was incredible. You know, I didn't feel great that day, and I spent the day just lying in my camper, but when I knew he was on, I was like, I have to get up and hear this guy, you know. And it was just really happy, and he's not resting on any laurels. He's just grooving, and his band, he's got like a 9-piece band. He's got a gazillion hit songs, and you know, and the Waifs were there.
Oh yeah.
Oh geez, there was a lot. If I wasn't listening, I was lying in my camper listening. Holly Near, you know, who I'd never heard before, and she was great. And I had a lovely time. Great shopping, all kinds of hippie clothing. Like, it's a very female festival. In fact, Kate Wolf, you know, she passed away some time ago of cancer, but you know, it's in honour of her. And there's a lot of women who play on this festival, which is nice because so often it's like there are all the men and then you get women as a genre, you know, and it's just really nice to be at a festival where there's just a whole bunch of, not exclusively women, but it's just much more mixed up. And yeah, I loved it.
Fantastic. So are there more songs from within the walls of San Quentin? Could we expect a Hey Warden Part 2?
It's changed now, you know, since I've moved back. I went in March and I played a show in the Catholic chapel with a couple of women, Pam Delgado and Jerry Jones, and did a beautiful, like, an hour-and-a-half show to about 200 people. And then we went in April and we played it's called the Day of Peace. So we were there from like 9 a.m. till 3 p.m. Out on the yard. We played a set, and there's a bunch of different musicians play throughout the day. And then we just wander around and talk to people. And, you know, by this stage I've got relationships with quite a few people because I've been going in over the years. So there's people I know, and then there are people who know me because they know somebody who knows me, and so they feel a connection. And so there's a lot that's becomes immediate just because of my connection with, you know, like a smaller bunch of guys, it then becomes a bigger bunch of guys, you know, because they trust me and they love that I keep coming back. And then that was an incredible day. And then I wrote a story. It's called Day of Peace, and it's on my website. It's in my newsletter, and it's on my blog, and then what was it? May. Yeah, so May, then a friend who was supposed to go in and do a prison in the chapel had a heart attack, and he didn't die, but he couldn't go in. So Bread and Rose was like, can you go in and do this show, And I'm like, okay. So I went in May and did a show again, which was great because we're like, we want to go back to the chapel. So that was great fun. Yeah.
Fantastic. Hey, Audrey, thanks so much for your time, and congratulations on this CD. It's a fantastic piece of work.
Thank you, John, very much. It's a great pleasure to continue to be your friend.
Absolutely. Music and love are both great healers, and we know you've got some wonderful music within you and so much love from people all over the world, and we know you'll win your battle eventually.
Thanks, John, very much.
Okay. Take care.
All right, bye.
Bye-bye.